the Proteas pummel the Poms in this first ODI at Headingley. And can you believe it? We have never ever won an ODI match at Headingley. South Africa has never won, so I was quite surprised by that. And looking at the scorecard, guys, it's not a T20 game, okay? It was an ODI match. Just to clarify that, if you're seeing the scorecard and you're wondering, thanks to South Africa as well, that we can actually now watch the other cricket as well, Afghanistan versus Pakistan. I'm wondering what's going to happen with that one. A big match going on there, obviously very vital for that tri-series. But fantastic by South Africa, just relentless. We're going to go through everything, because again, some of you don't have a subscription. I don't know what the hell's going on, but fantastic. And again, it's this age-old question. England, just a few years ago, they won the ODI World Cup. Yes, bit of controversy about that still, but they were the winners of that World Cup. And ever since then, there has just been this lack of identity in this ODI format. They don't know when to go left or right or forward or backwards or up or down. Everything just looks a little bit of a mess. I understand you just played the 100, and I've spoken about this before. This ODI format, teams are always rusty coming into this, especially after you've played shorter format cricket. There is no, well, there is a T10, but there is no shorter format, more of a shorter format than the 100, at least in England. Let me know if there is a T10 series. I'm not sure of that, but definitely a huge struggle for England, especially in this format with the players. And we really saw quite a bit of that today. Look, for South Africa, this was their first match. They just came from Australia. Now they're in England, completely different conditions. So I thought maybe the bowling was a bit all over the place, Lungin Gidi, Nandre Berger. But what I will say is I really enjoyed the bravery. You know, them pitching it up, seeing if there's some movement at the start. That's what you got to do in England. You got to be brave. You got to find that length, the right length, as quickly as possible. And they did everything that they were supposed to do. And by the end of it, if you've got a team like the Bazballers, England, 57, I think it was 57 for two. I'm not sure when Joe Root lost his wicket now, but they only scored 57 runs in the power play. I think any team would take that as a massive victory, because there's this trend that's been happening with England, especially in this ODI format. They get off to these amazing starts, and then it's just like they forget that this is a 50 over game. This isn't a 20, 25, 30 over game. It is a 50 over game. So you can kind of think to yourself, and especially, and here's where a big problem comes in for me with England, the moment Joe Root is gone, I think fear starts setting in. If you're an England fan, if you're you know, because for me, he's not just the glue. He's a lot more than that. He's almost the hope, the only hope, because from what I've seen from Harry Brook, as much of a talented player that he's been, he's not been the most consistent, and he's not really been somebody that you can count on that much, especially in these big matches against really big teams. Maybe he's done it a few times before, sure, but I've not been seeing that enough. Not from a player like his caliber, let's put it that way. And so, yes, of course, fantastic catch by Ryan Rickleton. Like I said, Lungin Gidi actually pulled his length a little bit back, which probably induced this false shot by Joe Root. But look at this catch from Ryan Rickleton. The third umpire took an age and a half to finally give this out. I don't know why they took this long to zoom in, which was the clear thing that had to happen at the start. I really think we need to work on these things. Anyway, luckily he was given out. But fantastic wicket keeping by him. The ball was swirling around a little bit, so he did really well. And then, guys, honestly, then some dot balls started building up. Now, I don't know what it is with certain teams, especially, I'm going to say this about India, and this is now a T20 situation that you've got here in the Asia Cup. But, you know, there's still talks about the likes of Virat Kohli not being there. There really is this, and I saw quite a bit of it with Australia as well now in that ODI series, but there is this tendency to just want to go and not want to build. And it's very interesting for me. I'm a massive fan of Owen Morgan. I think he's got one of the most incredible cricket brains in this in the white ball format. He's absolutely phenomenal. But at halftime, he said he was disappointed that England didn't show more intent. Harry Brook got run out because I feel some dot balls were maybe building. Look guys, by the end of 20 overs, listen to this stat, by the end of 20 overs, 57% of England's deliveries were dots. 74 dot balls after 20 overs. That is some bowling by South Africa, and we don't even have Rabada and Jansen there. So that speaks a lot about South Africa's depth as well. Shukri Conrad has been working hard on this, and that's why we are doing these tours, Australia and England, etc. But that's a lot of dot balls. And for me, if you're 100 for 3, which it was at a certain stage, you've got Jamie Smith, he was looking fantastic. Is that not the time where you want to build a partnership? Or is that the time to then carry on, going? Because they were all out for 25 overs. And now I feel like Owen said at the halftime, he said, well, why weren't they showing more intent? They were really timid. And now I think to myself, what if they showed intent and they all lost all of their wickets? What would people have said then? So at this point in time, this lack of identity for England, it's really putting them in this sort of like, almost like lose-lose situation. I apologize, my microphone, I don't know why this happens. It puts them in this kind of like a lose-lose situation where if they go one way, they try and build, play the long game, because it is the ODI format, it's not the T20 format. Okay, then they lose their wickets because Maharaj is he is the #1 bowler in the world in the ODI format. They have struggled against spin. So then, okay, if that's going to be a lose-lose, then here's my other question. Somebody like a Jacob Bethel, I think it was Atherton who spoke to Owen Morgan as well. Is it not time to bring Sam Curran back into the mix? Okay, with his experience, I also feel like he's somebody that's perhaps a little bit more reliable, that can play a long innings. Has he not deserved his spot back into this conversation at least? And we look at somebody like a Diovold Brevis, he's going to be one of the best in the world. You guys saw his ranking spots that he went up in the T20 rankings. But he had to do that, he came in, everybody sort of like worshipped him. It was this whole baby ABD thing. And then he had to go back, find himself, find his game, decide how it is that he wants to play, go back to building the foundation, find his identity. And when he came back into the fold, that SA20 that he just had, he's just been going from strength to strength. But there's a lot of value in doing the domestic run, playing the domestic cricket, putting in the hours, being in the middle. Is it maybe not the time now to send Jacob Bethel back in that direction? Because I'm just not quite sure where this is going. And I say this with the utmost of respect, and I think he's got a lot of talent. But what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm struggling to find somebody outside of Joe Root. Buttler, yes, sure, but in the T23 World Cup, he struggled as well. And I'm going to say again, I don't think that's the best position for Jos Buttler. I honestly think he needs to be in as early as possible. He needs to build an innings. I think that would be the best for England. But they really want him to come in at the back there. And so I just don't think, what do you think of that? Do you think that's the best position for him? And then Vian Mulder, bowled really, really well. He's going from strength to strength. He actually changed his bowling action, I heard today. He's been playing really well. Maharaj, guys, is just unbelievable. And somebody like him, just, tucking the English batters up, building the dot balls. We know that would make a team like England crazy. Sorry, I didn't finish my point earlier on about India. You don't have a guy like Virat Kohli there. You really want to make sure that players like Gill and etc., you're going to need players who are going to build an innings. I think that's something teams have to work on now, because it's not going to be easy playing in South Africa, right? But very proud of the South Africans today. I thought they came out with real fire, Protea fire, and then Aiden Markram and Rickleton getting a bit of a score there is also good for us. Yeah, there's no pressure. But just to spend some time in the middle, I think a lot is going to be up to them for the next year and a half. Very important for them to find synergy, but fantastic performance, I think, by the Proteas. And let me know, what were your thoughts?